we are going to talk about Pharrell discussing his thoughts on politics. Needless to say, Pharrell isn't a fan of politics.
Oh,
He he doesn't engage with it. He believes it's a magic trick, and he also believes that if you align with one particular political party or the other, that you are contributing to divisiveness. So yeah, Pharrell isn't necessarily a fan of politics. He actually hates it. He shies away from it at all costs. This says Pharrell faces backlash after explaining his hatred for politics. Pharrell says that he hates politics and that supporting either party is supporting division. He shared his thoughts during the fifth annual Black Ambition Demo Day at Sacred Space Miami on Friday. At the event, he was presented with the key to the city. When the Neighborhood Talk posted a clip of Pharrell's comments on Instagram, debate ensued. He ain't wrong. Neither side is truly for the people. They're both paid by the same people that lobby against us. If the people want change, we have to change it. Another countered, once someone say they hate politics, that tells me everything I need to know for real. One more added, why do people talk when they are so
God damn.
I
That's
know
how they
that was very intrusive.
Oh my God.
That was a very aggressive, intrusive ad. And
Oh,
I assure you my pop-up blocker is on too.
goodness gracious.
Okay, so where did I leave off? Oh, one more added. Why do people talk when they're so out of touch? Stop talking about something you're not fully educated in, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
It's not the first time Pharrell has expanded on why he tends to abstain from talking politics. Back in 2024, he said that he doesn't do politics while speaking with the Hollywood Reporter. He said at the time, there are celebrities that I respect that have an opinion, but not all of them. I'm one of them people who says, what the heck, shut up, nobody asked you. When people get out there and they get self righteous and they roll up their sleeves and stuff, and they are out there walking around with a placard, shut up. So, no, I would rather stay out of the way. And obviously, I'm going to vote how I'm going to vote. I care about my people and I care about the country, but I feel there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I'm really about the action. So here's Pharrell at this event in which he talks about his aversion to politics.
As we look at what's going on in the current political climate, I'm just saying I want to turn everybody off. I hate politics, like despise them. It's a magic trick that it's not real. I don't believe in either side, so I think when you pick a side, you are only you are inadvertently supporting division. Yeah, it's not a popular point of view, but I just got to say, like, think about it. The wells are drying up, and then, okay, now the diversity's off the table, now equity's off the table, now inclusion's off the table. So that makes me ask myself, okay, so how do we survive? Well, are there Black people here tonight? Yeah. And in your heart, do you think for what it is that you do and who you are, do you think you're the best? Okay, so do you want the job because you're Black or because you're the best? Do you want someone to support your startup because you're Black or because you're the best? Right, so I think now for me, it's about us having the best ambition. That's the reason why you should support these businesses. Yes, they happen to be Black and brown, but it should be based on the thesis that we're the best, not because we are a total shade of a skin color. That's a point of view that I have now that I'm resting on. And if diversity, equity, and inclusion ever comes back in style, cool. But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on being the best because I can bank on that. Because that's what's going to get you the position. Where, I don't want you to give me anything. I want you to panic and not let me out the room because I'm the best.
All right, so those are his thoughts on that. So what did you think of that?
Uh, you know, fair take, I guess. I'm really confused. I don't think it's necessarily his stance on politics. It might have been that DEI stuff that he was talking about that got people in a bunch there, because there's a lot of people that are politically neutral. But his take there on DEI says why he may not be neutral to some people. So, I think that some of his backlash may have been coming from his overall statement, not so much of his political stance. But his take on politics is, I do believe it's a parlor trick. It's deceptive. I do believe that both sides are controlled. And therefore, They're not necessarily looking out for the best interests of the people. And when it comes to the DEI stuff, I mean, that's a from the angle in which he was talking about it, that that they just he just be the best. And it's just like, oh, okay, but yeah, but you know the people that the detractors of what he's saying there is that the people that are going to ultimately be doing the hiring could know that you're the best but don't want to hire you because they don't have to or want to, because of how you look. um, Not everybody is hiring people on the contents of their character. So I'm sure that's pretty why that he got some backlash there. But overall, I agree with his stance that striving for excellence is the key, and not being so wrapped up in politics is also imperative. So I'm actually surprised to hear him say that. The political aspect. I could have sworn he was a blue man. I could have sworn I seen him at blue stuff, hanging out with blue people. I guess over the years or whatever, he's evolved and he doesn't associate with that anymore because he doesn't feel like he has to, or he's grown, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I'm a little surprised that he said that, because of his previous affiliations that I thought he had. But when you look at him, his aesthetics and stuff like that, he comes off as a free spirited man who, of course, wouldn't agree with any political ideologies. So overall, I think that's his opinion, that he's entitled to it, that people don't have to sign up for these parties if they don't choose to. And and to get backlash and tell him to educate himself more on his political stance, to me, is humorous. I think this is another situation of selective outrage. Something came across their feed and they didn't like what they heard, so all of a sudden it's backlash season. Me personally, I feel as though this is his opinion. Whether he's right or he's wrong in your worldview, I don't know if it constitutes backlash when it comes to the statement that he made. But what are your thoughts, man, on Pharrell voicing his opinion on politics, basically saying that, hey, man, if you go for either one of them, you're going for divisiveness. What are your thoughts, man?
I'm inclined to agree that the objection to his comments stem from him being indifferent towards the prioritization of DEI. I think his stance therein with DEI is probably what has people riled up the most.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
Now, personally, me, when it comes to this DEI stuff, I'm also indifferent towards it. So I guess you can hate me too.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
There
but
goes
but but,
backlash.
but overall, I think his indifference towards politics is warranted, and I see the same thing. Unfortunately, you know, politics have become, because of the way that politics is currently run, particularly in this country. I can't speak to how it's run in other countries, but in this particular country, because of the way it's run, people have been forced into buckets of being single issue voters, which is completely opposed to the spirit of the way the political process is supposed to work.
Hmm.
The idea is to go with whatever represents the greatest amalgamation of all of your various sensibilities and things that you care about. But these days, everything is single issue. And so what ends up happening is people who choose to remain involved in the political process via voting and all that kind of stuff, they're forced to pick a single issue that they care about the most, and whichever candidate, uh, you know, um, whichever candidate aligns most closely with that single issue is where people are going to, um, you know, afford their allegiances, regardless of whether every other aspect of that person's individual politics is complete sharp. That doesn't matter. All that matters is the single issue that you care about, that you've chosen to be active when it comes to politics, is aligned with this person. So if what you care about, for example, is you know women's right to choose, pro choice or whatever. If that's the single issue upon which you've chosen to participate in this process, then as long as that candidate is pro choice, you're going to ride with them regardless of how they feel about the economy or equity or all of that other stuff, regardless of how they feel about that, regardless of how they feel about war, regardless of how they feel about the right to bear arms, guns, regardless of how they feel about taxation, regardless of how they feel about all those other equally important things. Because you're a single issue voter and you care about pro choice, you're going to rock with this person, even if all the rest of their politics suck. Mm-hmm. And the vast majority of people have been forcefully sequestered into those various buckets because of the way that politics is oriented. So I do think that it has become largely a dog and pony show as a result of that dynamic. And I don't know if that's the perspective that he is speaking at it from, but regardless, I agree with him that it is ridiculous and it's a clown fiesta at this point. And it's become a matter of a single. Everybody these days, for the most part, not everybody, but most people are single issue voters because of the stark polarization that has beset modern American politics. If all you care about is voting for the candidate who's more likely than not to institute policy that's going to grow your crypto portfolio, then that person can be crap with all the rest of the politics, but you're going to rock with that because you want to grow your crypto portfolio. And that's what most people do. So politics does suck. It is a joke, and it is a dog and pony show. It's a complete sham and mockery, and it's no wonder that we're a laughing stock to the global community when it comes to the political process. Politics as a vehicle is largely run by corporations who are paying these puppets. So a candidate's going to do whatever they need to do to secure Zuckerberg's funding or Bezos's funding or Elon Musk's funding because they got billions upon billions of dollars and you want that money. So before you serve the people, you're going to serve those individuals.
Yep.
And anyone who is aware of this is right in feeling completely apathetic toward the entire process. So if he is operating on that level of insight, then I totally get where he's coming from. But even if he's not, I agree with the general idea that it's a clown fiesta. I would rather spend 3 hours at the circus, the actual circus, than to go to a polling booth at this point for 45 minutes.
Barnum and Bailey, bro. I mean, I agree, dog. You know what I'm saying? American Soul Circus. Remember that, bro? They used to advertise that all the time on 99
Universal Circus.
Yeah, Universal Circus. I never went, bro. I don't think I've ever went, man.
I went once.
Okay. Hey, shout out to bro on that ad too, man. He used to be getting down, bro. But yeah, to piggyback off your point, man, and to drill in the aspect of, because you nailed the political part, and even getting into the DEI portion of his argument is that, okay, they took it away. Now what? You going to just sit around and complain or be the best at what you do? So you have a choice here to be playing victim or bossing up and putting yourself in position regardless of who's in office or whatever else is going on. And that's another thing that's also happened with this binary system. You either got to go with those people or those people. You know what I'm saying? And most likely they're not going to be agreeing with an overall political ideology set as you was talking about, because as you mentioned, they're on extremes. So whoever's in office, whether it's the person you voted for or not, they're most likely not going to be going for stuff that you need to do to get your life going. And for you to sit down and wait for the president to change your life, you got this whole process wrong. So whoever's in office, whether they're the person that you want or the person that you don't want, you need to be focused on self-improvement and being the best at whatever it is that you do, regardless. So if there's a policy out there that's pretty much acting like food stamps, gets removed, are you going to just sit there and cry and complain in some dungeon? Or are you going to boss up and make sure that you don't allow somebody else to control your life? So I'm with him with all of it. I'm surprised that he said this. I thought he was bought and paid for, which in many respects he is. But this was still a take that I can stand behind that. I agree with him, man. So yeah, man, I don't get down with this political system as well. I have my thoughts and opinions on how this stuff is run, and I checked out uh, a decade ago or more, and so since I realized I put things in my hands. And to speak on a conversation that we had um, about the snaps and stuff, is that I don't like nobody controlling
Mhm.
my destiny and my worldview or none of that. And I used to bank on whoever's in office is gonna change the climate of the country. And they can change climate could change all at once. But if I'm stocked up with ponchos, umbrellas, fans if it get hot, the fans with mist in it if it gets really hot, and I got all this stuff in my toolbox, then I don't care how the weather gets. I'm gonna be straight regardless of who's in office. So long as that's your mindset, bro, then at that point, these politicians and whatever games they decide to play wouldn't sway you and change how you wake up every day. Because I'm telling you right now, some people are in hell since Orange Man's been in there, and none of their personal circumstances have changed outside of who got elected. But everything is going to be their person's fault because of how they view the world. So yeah, man, you take control of your own mind because that's what it is. Like he said, it's a trick. And if you buy into it, then you're subject to whatever tricks that these people are playing. So I'm with Pharrell on this one, rare one, Eclipse, Eclipse Pharrell collab on this part for us.
Yeah, it's just, as someone who's currently in the process of trying to get their real estate license and eventually
That's right.
become a real and eventually become a realtor,
That's right.
whether Trump is the president or whether there's a Democrat who's the president, nothing's stopping me from doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You gotta get
like
a
the
bag.
yeah, like whoever's there, whoever's up there and they're out there finagling around with this politics, it's not stopping me from getting this license. And once I'm licensed, I'm going to be able to earn money in the real estate business. Nothing's going to stop me from being able to do that. So
Correct.
it's one of those situations where you have to maintain the appropriate amount of balance and perspective with respect to how much you allow these things to like infiltrate and control your own individual agency. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And I
Mhm.
think a lot of people are really they're so preoccupied with the politics that they forget to like, look around and say, hey man, there's stuff that I can be doing here. um I don't care, bro. Like, I don't care. And I get it, people get real passionate and riled up about this stuff. And I get it, there are legit policy things that matter with things that people care about,
Yeah, for
like
sure.
like guns and like abortion and all of that stuff. There are policies which affect the availability or lack thereof of things like that. And so who wins these various races does matter when it comes to that. But I think you would agree with this. The vast majority of people who are so turned off, or rather who are so charged up by the political process, are people who are dissatisfied with their own personal circumstances,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
largely economical.
Yes.
And so if you're in that boat, you have to change that instead of being so charged up about what happens with politics. And I'm not trying to I am not suggesting that people are supposed to be apolitical. It's just about taking inventory on what's important,
Yeah.
and having the right perspective. Because I'm telling y'all right now, this stuff is a clown fiesta, straight up dog and pony show.
Unbelievable.
And I'm serious. Like I said before, I'd rather spend 3 hours at the actual circus at this point
Mhm.
than to spend 45 minutes in a voting booth, except for the local elections. The local elections do still matter because it's like, nah, you're not going to be doing this stuff in my neighborhood, or, you're not putting a smoke shop on every corner in my neighborhood. There are certain things it's like, okay, I'm going to turn out for the local elections. But when it comes to this national election stuff and just being so turned off by people like, who's currently in office because you just are offended because he's an abrasive, jerk off, racist person, like go get an apprenticeship, go get yourself a license, go, become an electrician, be a welder. You know what I'm saying? Like get into something, get into stuff, nothing's stopping you from doing that. It doesn't matter who's up there. They're not stopping you from doing it.
Yep. Hey, agreed, man. So, hey, let us know down in the comment section, guys. You guys agree with Pharrell and us. We're just, as you mentioned, bro, apolitical. I'm not signing up for any of these people. Do you think we tripping, or you feel like as though we need to educate ourselves more, as the comment section said? Let us know, please. Love to hear your thoughts.
And these people don't care about this. They just want to grow their crypto. They want to get more crypto, more deregulation, more sports betting. You give them that, and they'll vote for whoever. People don't care.
Sports betting.